Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Chai with My Bite. Today, I'm joined by an esteemed panel once again. We've got Dr. Imran to my right, mashallah, tabarakallah, the big physio, the only physio I know with a PhD, mashallah. Scholars and celebrities, Allah barik, and podcasters. Then we have Dr. Mostafa here to my left, your right, one of the most elite doctors on planet Earth. In your particular niche, there's only 5 guys on earth that do what you do, right?
Correct.
Allahumma barik. So, regenerative medicine, there's the man. Allahumma barik. Stem cells, head to toe treatments. This is your guy.
Sexual performance.
All of that. Allahumma barik. Abu Bakr. My codeine, but we're not criminals. Because codeine means co-defendant. I didn't know that for years. We would just say that's my codeine, you know? But come on, man's not a criminal. I didn't realize. May Allah protect us. I mean, Anyways, guys, as you know, we have The Cave, our network of high net worth Muslims. And many of you have seen some of the stuff that's been going on around, the events, the things that we do. This is for those that are 7, 8, 9 figure Muslim entrepreneurs, investors, senior corporate executives, the kind of people that have big aspirations to do great things in this world whilst not compromising their deen. In fact, how can you align your worldly aspirations with the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jalla, whilst at the same time have fun, be around brothers? With that said, if you want to be a part of this network, this global network that's all the way from Australia to the West Coast, in America, and everything in between, you can apply at the link below. With that said, today we have a very interesting topic lined up for you. We're going to talk about a lot of the medical controversies that exist that affect us on a day-to-day basis. Dr. Mostafa, I want to talk to you about COVID. What the hell was that?
Gosh.
What was COVID?
Traumatic for me. I was in the middle of my anesthesia training.
Ooh.
So I'm double boarded in anesthesia and interventional pain, but I'd do anesthesia for 4 years. And I was in the thick of COVID.
Okay.
In my anesthesia training. I was the guy wearing the space suit, going and intubating and putting breathing tubes in people's throats who had COVID.
Okay.
So I actually got COVID naturally. You know, I caught it from one of these patients. And I was absolutely debilitated for like a week. I was sick. Alhamdulillah, I recovered well.
Okay.
And but what I saw in the hospital was a little bit different. There was people dying, but I don't know if they died from
COVID.
You know, people, you know, it gets tricky. It gets tricky, right? This gentleman, I remember in particular, he was 33 years old. He had end-stage liver disease. Liver was shot, not making any proteins to clot his blood, immune system done. He was shot. He was done. And he got COVID. So the question is, did he die from COVID or did he die from complications from his liver disease? That was the question I always asked myself. And there's a rumor on the street that the hospitals were getting paid a lot of money for COVID cases.
Is that room, does that room have credence?
I think it does. A lot of
As
hospitals.
for every person that died?
Well, not every person that dies, but the care that was involved, there was a different type of reimbursement. I don't remember the exact one, but I know there's a different type of reimbursement.
It's for the data. So it would be probably for the data, because across the pond in the UK, we had a very similar situation. People were literally dying of a car crash. People were involved in a road traffic accident. The death was because of the road traffic accident, but because they had COVID at the time, we would still test them for COVID. If they had COVID, we would then mark it as a COVID death. And that data would be collated and sold to whoever was buying the data.
But these 2 examples that you've given, are they anomalies?
No, this happened a lot.
No, I think the numbers were
Skewed.
played like a little bit skewed. Now, Allahu Alam, I don't know for sure. I can't be concrete with that, but that's, you know, what I saw.
So I got COVID and it was definitely way more intense than a normal flu. Like, I was KO'd. But it was just a fluke. That was my experience. And my dad, so he's diabetic and he's had a triple bypass and he had a stroke. Allah preserve him. I mean, if you see him walking around, you would not think any of that. But, you know, he's like, I guess, at risk, high risk type of guy, right? and he had COVID, and it was just a flu. And I remember something he said to me that clicked. He was like, I realized this whole thing's a scam. Because that was just a flu. And then when he came out, that was his word. So again, I'm not trying to make light of what other people's experiences might have been. I don't know what it is in terms of the scientific data, but to me, it just felt like it was over exaggerated.
Right.
Is that true?
I would say yes, and I think there was another agenda. Distancing us and putting all these precautions. You know, one thing I could not stand is the pushing of the vaccine. I could not stand that because it's as if everyone who went to medical school forgot what they learned.
What do you mean by that?
When you get natural immunity, it's more robust than any vaccine.
Okay.
Herd immunity, is that what it's called? Herd immunity? That's what they're pushing in the UK.
No, natural, as in you get it yourself.
Between herd immunity and
no, as in you get the disease, and then from the disease, your body naturally creates antibodies. So if you were to get the disease again, it wouldn't affect you in the same way. You'd be able to fight it off naturally. So your body's got the natural antibodies.
Yeah, essentially, you know, everyone was jumping on the vaccine bandwagon. Oh, get vaccinated, get vaccinated. I couldn't stand it. I have one of my best friends, he was on the Harvard's admission committee, and I was arguing with him about this, and he would send me articles back and forth. I'd say, my brother, I don't need to see anything. I have natural immunity. Why do I need to be vaccinated?
Okay, I'm looking for a killer sales guy that's looking to make 16,000 USD plus every month in terms of commissions. This is for a closer for our offer, which is The Cave, our network of ultra high net worth and high net worth entrepreneurs and investors. If you're a person who's got a consultancy background, somewhere like the big four consultancy companies, Deloitte, KPMG, and so on and so forth, or, you know, you've worked with high net worth entrepreneurs and investors and you can sell, and you actually care about bringing together wealthy Muslim men that can bring that wealth together and combine their efforts to create beneficial impact on this world, you actually care about that, then hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, you can apply. This is going to be a super hard job. It requires a lot of hard work and energy. I'm not looking for those diva closers, bro. You lot can take a back seat, brother, and just get out of the room, bro. I'm looking for a guy that's going to be invested, put the hours in. I've currently hired a sales consultancy. The CEO is a Muslim, but the guy that's going to be helping me with my recruitment on his team is not. So he's going to be doing your interview, inshallah ta'ala. So don't be surprised if you see, you know, a Caucasian gentleman. He's a nice guy, and he's really helping me out. But he's going to vet you and see if you'd be a good fit. So if you are a seasoned sales killer that's got what it takes to be a part of this offer, inshallah ta'ala, apply the link below, inshallah.
And I was one of the very few people who thought this. And wallahi, I almost thought I was crazy to the point where I was like, should I get vaccinated too on top of having natural immunity? Because no one else was having that same narrative. And even in my training at Mayo, they were trying to force me to get vaccinated. They said, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't specialize. That's insane to me. How do you force someone? And I have natural immunity. Like, what is that?
You know what's interesting?
What does that even mean?
You know what's interesting about your natural immunity? In the UK, we started doing the antigen testing to see who's actually got natural immunity, and the numbers were ridiculously high. They were really worried about the number because then if you've got natural immunity, you don't need the vaccine. So then they stopped doing the antigen test.
So are you saying people who got COVID didn't need the vaccine because they have natural immunity?
100%.
Yeah. So what about people who hadn't yet had COVID?
So in that scenario, you look at it case by case. Look, if you're overall healthy and you don't have any issues, then it's probably just going to hit you like a normal flu. But if you're immunocompromised, then you can have the discussion to get the vaccine just like you would get the pneumonia vaccine or any other vaccine. That's a discussion between you and your doctor. But don't force it down my throat.
Why do you think it was forced?
Masari, money, and a bigger agenda to distance everyone from one another and to take over small businesses and to privatize more businesses. I mean, every small business closed down in the US.
Yeah.
Every small clinic and the hospitals became more employed. You know, there's this other agenda that I see at my own hospitals that I work at, is the CEOs make the most money and they want to silence the doctors who speak out. Because having a doctor who runs a hospital will actually change the ethics of that hospital. You'll actually have better standards of care. Mm-hmm. So this is just a small trickle-down effect. And small businesses close down. I think there's many, we could sit here for hours and talk about what the agenda was, but for sure, masadi and money.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the same reason?
Yeah, and we've got exact examples. I mean, numbers-wise, as an example in the UK, when we're talking about small businesses, one set of data showed 10,000 salons and barbershops closed, never to open again, just in them 2 years. Numbers were insane.
But was that the intent?
I mean, yeah, so as in that, absolutely. I think this whole financial situation, for example, Pfizer, apart from the fact that they made absolutely billions of dollars on off the back of this vaccine, and they're continuing to make money because of the research grants that they're getting, no one had heard of these people. Pfizer have been around for a very long time, but they weren't really on the map. Yeah, no one really knew about them. But now all you hear is Pfizer. Even medication that we previously were using other brands, you know, like growth hormones as a big one. A lot of my clients that were on things like growth hormones or certain peptides, they would previously use other brands, but when they heard about Pfizer, they kept requesting the Pfizer brand because it was well known. You know, we all know about Pfizer. So yeah, absolutely. I think there was a marketing ploy, there was financial elements.
A lot of these MPs, both in the States and in the UK, they were investing in these companies.
Yeah,
before they publicly announced the contracts that were going to be for these vaccines. They did the deal privately, invested in these companies. Therefore, the people that are in power, because ultimately Allah is the one that's in control and in power, but the people that are at surface level in power, they themselves are incentivized. Their own wallet, their own pocket is going to be affected by how many people take the vaccine. So why would they try to do anything other than give you the vaccine?
I think there was also an experimental element here where they wanted to see how docile and how easy to manipulate the population. I think the insanity is for 2 years they locked us up and nobody's talking about that anymore. Like for 2 years we were essentially locked up. We couldn't go. People died. We couldn't go to funerals. Couldn't go to weddings. They were partying in number 10, if you remember.
They were kissing.
The
AIDS and
Matt Hancock, the health secretary, on CCTV was caught kissing and grabbing his secretary's ass. On CCTV.
Backside. Yeah. Adulterers.
It was unbelievable. Like, he got a £50 fine, I think. That was all that. This is the guy that decided the policy on distancing.
2 meters. 2 millimeters.
My guy was literally on that. Whoever put that CCTV up, by the way, legend. Like, that guy doesn't deserve a medal. But
yeah, I think it was also a blessing in disguise because all these organizations that are supposed to be for the better good, right, were making all these recommendations. But now we kind of see where the truth lies, that they weren't really telling the full truth.
The vaccine apparently is I've heard
and by the way, I want to mention that my uncle died of COVID. My uncle, Allah yarhamu, in Lebanon, he was a doctor and he died of COVID. So this isn't like me, you know, I even witnessed it firsthand when I was in the hospitals intubating people, you know. So I'm not afraid to say what I'm saying now, and I never have. But my own uncle died, so, you know, I'm not in any way, shape, or form biased. I've seen the whole spectrum.
You're not a COVID denier, because there are some people that outright say, no, there was nothing. Like, it was just a hoax. But no, because as you said, you caught it yourself, your uncle caught it, passed away. Harun, his father, if I'm not mistaken, passed away from it. So we know people that have passed away. Right. But ultimately, I think what the point is, how bad was it actually, though?
Yeah.
So the vaccine, was it dangerous?
I think they're hiding how dangerous it is. You know, a lot of these, you know, even in my own family, I'm not going to say who, but I have a distant family member who now has mast cell activation syndrome, which is this response that your body has, an extreme inflammatory response where your heart rate goes up, you're very sensitive, you have like an extreme allergic reaction to everything. They never had this before the COVID vaccine. After the COVID vaccine, they've had this. You know, these cases of myocarditis, stroke, blood clots, and patients who have no risk factors for blood clots. Where's this all arising from? Now, can I definitively say that there's causation? I can't, because we need long-term studies. But I'd be naive to say that I'm not suspicious.
That suspicion, do you think, because again, even here, there seems to be two schools of thought. Some people think there was an intentional foul play. We want to, cull the population. Other people say, no, it was just that time for vaccines take years to develop. These guys did it in, 6 months? A year? Whatever.
That's
so
the worry.
It's like negligence. Like they were rushing and they made a mistake and that's why it's harmful? Or do you feel like it was, no, let's reduce the population?
At the very least, what we can definitively say is that it was highly experimental. That I don't think anybody would deny that. The fact that it was made in such a short time frame, certain protocols were completely overlooked.
But could one not argue that in extreme circumstances require extreme action?
Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that it is highly experimental. And people weren't allowed to do consent is huge in the medical world. Consent is absolute. And this is what I was talking to Dr. Shaf about yesterday. I said, unless you are able to explain to the client or the patient exactly why you're doing what you're doing and what's going to go into them and what the responses that they're going to have, you can't get true consent. How do I give you something? How do you accept that I'm going to take this thing and when I can't really explain to you what that is and what the long-term effects are going to be? So even real consent wasn't given. A lot of people were forced, like pressured in taking the vaccine, like you were saying earlier. So when you look at all of these factors, we can definitively say there was a high level of experimentation.
So what I don't understand about the UK, was that, and I guess it was the same in the US, there was so much pressure on, you need this vaccine. If you don't have this vaccine, your life's over. Can't do anything. And then suddenly, no one talks about it. Like, what was that?
That's the insane part. But it was easy to do. That's so easy to do.
No, but what was that? As in, did the pressure wear off because
they think majority of people took it?
That, or have they just gone quiet on a blunder? Or
no. It's very simple. It's so on your nose. When I say it now, you're gonna think, it's so. The human attention span is so sensitive. All it took was there for them to mention another hot topic, and everyone's attention went from there to there.
Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, exactly. Ukraine, Russia, LGBTQ was massive. There was Brexit issues going on. There were so many things that were, because of during the COVID period, things that were delayed that didn't happen, that were meant to happen in those 2 years. So the easiest way for them to then distract the population and make us forget, which is what we did, was just bring up a few of the topics. Our attention span literally just responded to it.
Even one thing that was crazy as well is that, again, it just shows the capitalist society that we live in. There were a lot of supply chain issues, right? During COVID, things got shut down. When things reopened, did prices drop back down?
No.
They said, we have to increase the prices of tissue roll and this roll and eggs and this and that. Because why? We've got supply chain issues. Okay, supply chain issues got fixed after COVID. Prices didn't go down. In fact, they went up.
COVID, did it come from China? Did it come from a lab in Mississippi?
Wuhan.
I think I heard Mississippi.
Mississippi? I never heard that one.
I didn't hear that.
Somewhere in America.
You know what people should do, and this might be a bit, I don't know if you're allowed to have this. There's a movie called The Contagion. Have you seen this movie? It will scare you.
Is it the one with the monkey?
No, this is the one where they made it 10 years before, because 15 years old, this movie.
Okay.
Pretty famous actors like Lawrence Fisher's on there, so big actors. It literally looks like someone has just gone to the future, written a script and come back, right down to the fact that there were bats involved, there was quarantining, there was this novel vaccine that they create. It was scary. And during the COVID period, this movie got completely wiped out of existence. It's available to watch now, but they literally dampened everything on this movie, so no one could watch it, no one could find it. And it's back out on public domain now. You can find this movie, Contagion. Honestly, if you watch it, it will scare you to the core. It's like someone's gone to the future, watched the COVID happen, come back, even how they were developing the vaccine, the quarantining, the distancing, everything. It was scary. They even bats in Wuhan, that was all a part of the narrative. So it's almost like when COVID happened, said, we need a story. Well, we've already got a story. Let's just use that. No one really knows too much about it. So let's just use that. And the mad thing was it worked. No one went, well, I've seen this movie. It's like if a T-100 turned up now coming through the door, we'd all be like, I've seen Terminator. No one went, I've seen Contagion. This is not true. You're lying to me. This is a movie you're talking about. It was insane. I can't believe that.
Whenever the mainstream media is pushing something, I'm just this is completely BS. I don't believe a word. That's my litmus test.
But why? Like, what makes you doubt the mainstream media?
And where do
Who's
you draw
running
the
the mainstream media?
Who?
Sahyuniyi. That's who's running it. So, and I know their intentions.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer for me.
This is actually a matter of fact, like is in Fox News,
Right.
Yeah.
the Murdochs.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's public domain. It's not conspiracy.
It's not.
If they're pushing this, okay, then I know what the deal is.
Vaccines in general. There's a lot of talk about vaccines are harmful. Are you pro-vax? Are you anti-vax? I don't even understand the discussion. I'll be honest with you. I just jumped on the anti-vax bandwagon until I had to get a tetanus injection recently. But I still...
So you got it?
I got it.
Yeah.
But I still prescribe to the anti-vax camp.
Right.
I think it's just because I'm anti-establishment.
Well, I think that's the thing you have to... I think when it comes to any intervention, medication, vaccines, you have to look at the risk-benefit ratio. In that moment, the benefit of you getting it outweighed the risk.
Yeah.
Right? And you had that discussion with your doctor. I don't think we can label... I don't think we can make like a blanket statement. But what I will say is, I told you earlier before the podcast, I think the frequency of vaccinations we're getting are a lot more frequent, especially in our children. The time to each vaccine is tighter and tighter. Is there any research to show causation? I'm not sure, but I'm part of the anti-vax camp just because I don't take the flu vaccine every year. I'm one of the few people who works at the hospital or in the clinics who doesn't. Number one, I'm younger. Alhamdulillah, I take care of myself. Okay, I'm doing everything I can. I don't need the vaccine. So for me, the risk of getting it outweighs the benefit. I think that goes with anything.
What is the risk of getting it?
Risk of getting it, headaches, myalgias, muscle pains. You might feel a little sick, but there's more severe risks. Guillain-Barré, which is a paralysis that you'll get waist down, like a temporary paralysis, sometimes can have residual effects. That's like the severe risk of getting a vaccine. An extreme immune reaction. These are the more severe risks. For me, I just don't want to dabble with that. I'll get the flu. That's fine, and I'll fight it off.
They keep talking about these new viruses, but it just...
Like super flu recently.
It's what is that?
Well, you know why? They want people to get more vaccines. It's more profitable. Once you get 5 vaccines, you get a free pizza. You haven't heard of that? Like you get a little punch card. You're being sarcastic.
I'm interrupting this podcast for an urgent announcement. There's a war that's going on in the Middle East right now, and you may not be living here, but you need to know how it affects you. What everyone who is in the know right now understands is that the prices of everything is set to skyrocket over the coming months. We're talking food, drink, oil, gas, electricity, basic necessities. Life as you know it potentially is going to be flipped on its head. There are some countries that are already almost out of electricity. Now, what does that mean for you? What that means is that you need to get financially stable faster now than ever before. People are being laid off left, right, center because companies cannot afford it. So what do you do in this situation right now? You can go out there and do it yourself, or you could take the path from someone trusted who can help guide you and get you financially stable with Allah's permission, online, remote, within 3 to 6 months. I'm talking about a guy who's done it for hundreds of people. I'm talking about none other than my beloved brother, Abu Lahya. He's a Muslim brother, entrepreneur, who's helped hundreds of people like yourself become financially stable. They've been able to do hijrah, move to Muslim countries, get married. One of his students actually made $1 million in 6 months, and he ended up qualifying to join our network of high net worth entrepreneurs and investors. Most of them will get to 10,000 USD monthly, Allahu Akbar. So if you're interested in becoming financially free and you understand the urgency that's in front of you right now, apply at the link below. But know that his program is very hard work. It's very hard work. It requires hours of dedication every single day. It's very expensive. It's not cheap. And they reject the overwhelming majority of applications. But those who make it through and do the work, they end up making money within 3 to 6 months, inshallah ta'ala. So apply at the link below before it's too late.
No, they were giving burgers. Like,
Are you kidding me?
Oh my
do
God.
you remember, bro? In COVID, do you know what? In COVID, what they did the eat out or help out and all this stuff. They were literally giving.
That's-
taking the
that's
vaccine, though.
Yeah, but it was all part of this whole thing, wasn't it? Like it's not beyond them to use food.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally not beyond them to say, you know what? If you come and have this vaccine, there's you get a free pizza. Why not? Who's gonna say no?
It's like a punch card now.
Yeah.
You go buy 4 coffees, you get the 5th one free. It's like ridiculous. Why do you keep getting vaccinated? I don't understand. People, like he said, people are very docile. I will never forget this image in the US. I don't know if it happened in the UK or here, but I remember in the middle of COVID, right? I'm intubating everyone. I knew I had COVID. I got sick. But when I went to the grocery store, it was like panic.
Yeah.
Did you guys witness that?
Oh,
too?
yeah. Toilet
People were
paper
fighting
here,
over
bro.
toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper of all
insane,
things.
bro. Honestly.
Bro, I'm gonna cut this out.
And-
bro, my granddad, I went to his house. The front room was lined. The walls were lined with toilet paper.
Oh no.
And then afterwards, after it subsided, he ordered toilet paper. He tried to get rid of it. The supermarket wouldn't take it back.
That's insane,
He
bro.
tried to refund it. They said, "No, bro, you took all of this. We're not going to return
I
it
remember seeing a guy selling a toilet roll
for like £100."
for $1,000 on eBay.
Inna lillahi.
I think that was more like comedy, though.
But bro, people are bidding for it.
People
bro.
bidding
In
for
a
it, yeah.
doomsday situation, you would prepare better than I have like a doomsday bag, like a bag where I keep like certain things. If things go
Go
south,
bag.
yeah, go back, like literally. But like
What's in there?
like freeze dried food, ration packs, some certain
Flashlight.
clothing, like certain types of hardware. Like I've got certain shoes
I need
that
one of
fold up. Yeah,
Swiss
bro,
Army
good.
knife.
Yeah. But I've got more than that. It's not just Swiss Army. I've got this tools that turns like 20 different things. Very hard wearing,
I should
titanium
make a
coated.
halal one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Branded.
Yeah.
That's a.
But it just to me just made
product.
sense. I've had it since like day one.
Go back.
Like it just
the fresh. What
so it's
food?
freeze dried fruits. So freeze dried foods. So we
What's
made like lasagna. We made like all halal stuff, and then we've got like a freeze dryer, and we just freeze dry everything, and it lasts on the shelves for like 25 years plus, and it's content really compact. So like a full lasagna, which weighs like 2 kilos, like 500 grams, like really compressed, and then you just add a bit of water
How
to
many
it.
days of food you have in there?
For my personal bag has about 3.5 months roughly of food, like 15-16 weeks of food in there, and then my kids have got 2 of their own, so they've got 2.
Is it like a proper big
No,
sized
it's
rucksack?
a 45 litre Bergen. It's about this big.
I'm interested as to why you have something. What makes you the type of person to have a doomsday bag?
Here in Sharjah or
No, no, no,
in the UK?
Wherever I've lived, I've always had one.
Yeah, but
Wherever I've lived.
So
When
what's-
I got to Dubai, within the first week I had one ready.
what's
like,
the
made.
difference between us? That you have a doomsday bag and I don't. What do you know about the world that I don't?
I suppose like
In the
so
military.
there's a military aspect to it as well. So when I was in the army, we had this thing called basically being combat ready, and they give you time frame. So it said, right, you're 1 month, you're 1 week, you're 1 day. So if you're 1 month, we can call you up in any time within that month, and you have to go and deploy. You'll have a 1 month notice. And then there were guys that were 1 week, so you've got 1 week's notice. And there were guys that were 1 day notice. So I was part of certain units that were 1 day notice. You drop everything and you're being deployed. So you
Your
had
bag
stuff
has to be
ready. You know, and then beyond that, like after I left that, I realized, bro, like the world is savage.
Yeah.
Like you just need to be
You
prepared.
watch these movies,
you know,
bro.
like certain
guys that are
medicals.
well prepared.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't watch movies.
Like I've got like a medical
Don't
kit
watch
in there.
movies. Oh, we
You
don't
know,
need-
I've got a few bits of like water purification stuff, and not just like tablets, like things that will give me long term ability to live in the wild, essentially.
Yeah, I need a bag like that.
Yeah, but we'll get one.
But it's not just about getting the bag. It's about
Knowing how to use
knowing
the bag.
how to use everything, and also knowing why you're putting everything in there in the first place. Him just giving you one
Yeah, I'm gonna
gonna
ask about why.
We'll do some
everything's
training,
here.
bro. We'll do some survival training.
survival
Yeah.
training. Yeah,
gonna
Survival
ask.
training.
It's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
important.
We'll do some
It's
survival
I'm just
more
gonna
training.
carry around
Yeah,
a tool that doesn't. You know, I'm gonna.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
No, we'll
ask.
do some survival training on it.
Do
bro.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
try it. It's a lifestyle. It's not just
Yeah.
the bag.
Yeah,
It's a
but
lifestyle.
honestly, I think everyone should have one, really, because like, when you'd rather have a gun and never need to use it than not have one and suddenly be in a position where, and I'm not advocating guns, I'm just saying as an example. Yeah, you'd rather have it,
can't
not
have
use
guns
it.
here.
Better to be a warrior.
No,
No, not allowed. No.
There's no need to hit. Truth be told,
Yeah.
here there's no need to.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, here like it's like there's actually no need.
There's no need. Yeah.
Microplastics.
Oof.
Sperm counts have dropped by 50% in 50 years, apparently due to the microplastics that are now found in our blood, our lungs, our brains, our testicles.
Testicles.
Yeah.
Plastic testicle, bro.
Man,
Thing.
What is a squirt in our plastic, brother?
It's
What
3D
is
printing.
ejaculating plastic?
That's mad.
I mean, I don't know if that's scientifically accurate, but
They have some celery juice.
is plastic the silent epidemic that no one's talking about? Or is this just negligible?
I think there's some merit to it. I believe the decrease in sperm count is multifactorial.
Okay.
I think it's metabolic syndrome. I think it's the food we eat, and then the plastics don't help.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all of that together.
Okay. So, plastics. Why are there so many microplastics in us in the first place? Like that threw me off. Like
Everything's plastic.
it just
Everything.
it just seems like we're not even human anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so much.
I think with the plastic, it's just overwhelmingly we're using so much plastic. Even like, I'll give you an example of meat. Meat's, something that we consume maybe 2-3 times a week. Let's say, for example, when you go buy meat from the supermarket, it's in these nice plastic cellophane wrap, and it might be sat on the shelf for 2-3 days. Those microplastics will absorb into the flesh, into the organic components, and then you're going to absorb that and you're going to eat it. Typically, we wouldn't have meat like that. We'd go hunt our meat, find our meat, kill it, butcher it there and then. There'd be no
water as
plastic.
well.
But is it dangerous?
When you get water bottles that are plastic and then get exposed to the heat.
But is it dangerous?
The way I see it is plastics act like estrogen. So in the body, they mimic estrogen. Sometimes they can mimic it up to 100, 1,000 times. So they're dangerous in that aspect where they can disrupt your hormones.
Okay.
I'd be lying to you to say if I think it's going to kill you tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I know that they mimic estrogen and that can cause problems in your body.
Do you do anything to actively avoid plastics? Like, for example, I know a brother that only drinks water from glass bottles. He doesn't have any plastic bottles.
Like for me, like I just like when it comes to like undergarments, I buy only cotton now because I heard we're absorbing nylon. Like
I do what I can. I do what I can.
Which is what we're really interested
like
in.
Undergarments. I try not to drink out of plastic.
You get cotton undergarments?
But it's so hard to avoid. It's everywhere. Yes, just cotton.
Very comfortable.
I'll say one thing on that. The human body,
Underarm.
the human body is very resilient to outdoor living. As in, like, we're very resilient to the environment around us. Yeah, if we're going to look at it from a historic point of view, we've lived for 100,000 years on this planet and really kind of survived a lot of very harsh conditions. So that being said, if you optimize your body, a lot of these things are going to have a minimal impact on you. Negligible impact.
You know what it is? It's like, where do you draw the line? Because there's so many, everything we use
exactly.
like
you have to
I remember
live.
someone was saying, bro, you shouldn't use deodorant because like you should use alternatives because it's got like metals and stuff like
Is
that.
deodorant bad?
I use a specific kind that doesn't have aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What that makes his own,
Aluminum, yes.
I have that one on right now.
Is it?
His kids make it.
Is it? I need
Which
to get some
one?
of that one.
His brother Wadah.
He's one of the network members.
His kids, they make they have a little business. They make natural deodorant.
MashaAllah.
I literally just put it on my fingers, rub it in the morning.
bro.
That's it.
I will tell you, if you eat clean, you don't need deodorant.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Yeah.
You don't need any deodorant.
But
Your
you still sweat,
underarms
right?
don't stink.
No, but it's for me. It's the perspiration, the sweat. It's just like lifting your hand up, and then there's a patch.
Yeah, but you won't get a stench if you're eating clean.
Even from the sweat, your sweat won't smell.
Yeah.
Not really.
Interesting.
Is it bad to stop the sweat?
You need to sweat. That's your way. That's the way your body's detoxifying itself.
So then deodorants are just taban.
Yeah, you're covering it up, but you need to sweat.
You're blocking it from coming out, so it's scary.
One way to detox from all the heavy metals and plastic is sauna.
Pajama. Oh,
Yeah.
And you need to sweat. And hijama. Hijama is fantastic.
Hijama.
So one second, hijama and going to the sauna will help you detox from these microplastics.
Microplastics, heavy metals.
Interesting.
And you can also take supplements that will bind to the heavy metals and to the microplastics as well.
So when it comes to sauna, like till today, I don't understand what's the benefit of a sauna. You just
sweat.
But why is that good?
It'll help detox you, and it's also going to increase your heart rate. So if you can't exercise, if you have some sort of impediment where you can't exercise, you can get your heart rate up by sitting in the sauna.
It's like passive cardio.
And it's also going to help detoxify you too, because sweating is one way you can detoxify. But you have to sit in the sauna for a certain amount of time. I think it's like 17 to 20 minutes. at a certain temperature. I think it's like
80 degrees plus, yeah.
171 Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what it is in
so
Celsius.
It's 80 degrees plus, 20 minutes, 3 times a week.
Right. Times a week.
Yeah, that's the optimal
Okay.
kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. And even just drinking lots of water and peeing a lot. Again, it's another way to just pee out a lot of these.
HIIT training, that'll detoxify you.
Interesting.
Toxic things.
Big pharma, big food. It seems like I'm horrified at finding out the stuff that they put inside of food. It literally makes sense why we get sick. And then they give us medicine that doesn't solve the root problem, as you discussed in the previous episode. It just covers it up. And you mentioned in the previous episode that a healthy patient is not a profitable patient. So they're incentivized to keep you sick. Is there like a like what's going on? How are they getting away? This is like such a big crime.
I think you've explained it. I think you've literally explained it.
No, but I want to know, like, as in, why hasn't it been stopped? But people are getting sick. And they're being kept sick.
Yeah, the people that you want, that you would expect to stop it, are the people that are heavily invested in it. So it's like the people that are actually causing this issue. We're expecting them to fix it, essentially.
I'll give you an example here. Like recently,
and we're not taking enough personal responsibility for
it. Between America and UK, they're trying to come up with a trade deal, right? Because obviously America recently put up tariffs, not recently, it's been about a year now, but put up tariffs on almost every country, UK included, right? And UK is trying to get a favourable deal. Mm-hmm. So one thing that they're doing is a trade deal, right? We'll give you this, you give this. So one thing America's saying is, Khan, we want you to buy our chicken. Mm-hmm. And American chicken, apparently they wash it with chlorine, or it's chlorinated or something along the very cheap basic one, right? I'm sure you don't eat that kind of chicken. Because obviously realizing he's American, and I don't want to offend him. But basically,
the patriot.
They were really trying to push that in that trade deal, like saying to the UK, bro, if you want us to drop these tariffs, you got to start buying our chicken. And the UK was like, bro, but like, we're trying to eat. Yeah. We don't want to eat chlorine.
Yeah, we don't need your chicken,
bro. At the end of the day, if America push for it, and that's the only way these men are going to be able to get that trade deal, think about it. Okay, cool. The lower class are going to eat chlorinated chicken, but we make billions in trade deals. That's worth it. Boris, Rishi, Keir, I'm not going to eat that chicken. I'm going to go to a proper restaurant or I'll get my fresh chicken. I can afford it. Sam, John, Davis, Billy, Bilal, Muhammad at the bottom of the food chain, they'll eat that chicken. And you know what? They'll prefer that chicken because it will be cheaper than the chicken that our farmers here do. So, do you get it? That it's right at the very top. Profit.
So my question is, you as a medical practitioner, right? You care about the people that you treat. You're very opinionated in your profession, Allah barik. You know, you call out the things that are obviously wrong. Do you ever, like, I just want to know, how do you feel in terms of optimism when it comes to trying to help people in the face of capitalism? Like, I'm not a socialist, I'm not a communist. Like, I believe the Islamic tradition when it comes to money is like so balanced, Allah barik. You know, make profit, but don't harm people in the process.
Would you say it's moral capitalism, or would you say it's not in capitalism, it's something else? Because I feel like moral capitalism encapsulates it in a very nice way, because we do believe in the free market. We do believe you should be able to go make money, earn money,
capitalism,
keep your money.
Riba is like
foundational to capitalism.
It's in capitalism. Okay. It's hard to even separate the two, right? Plus, morally, how do you define that, right? Because their thing might be, well, we're gonna make money, but not at the expense of people. But what they define as morally wrong might be different to what we define as morally wrong. Do you know, like riba is morally wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like capitalism is just such an enemy in your way. So do you ever feel like giving up? Like, do you ever feel like it's just, we will never actually be able to get people healthy? If you're like any decent Muslim out there, I know you wish you understood the Arabic language so that you could connect with the Quran. Do you know how long it took me to learn the Arabic language? It took me like 7-8 years. And you know why I'm kind of upset about that? It's because I've recently come across Ijada Institute, which has students speaking Arabic in 6 months. In 6 months. So I was mind blown. So I decided to connect with the founder and the teacher, Sheikh Abdurrahman, And I asked him, how did you do it? And he built a system, Allah Barik, that focuses specifically on teaching those that are non-Arab speakers living in the 21st century, i.e. our context, how to study Arabic. Most of the programs that you're going to see out there in the books were not even designed for Westerners or non-Arab speakers. And if they were designed back in the 90s and the early 2000s. This is a program that's mind-blowing. I actually listening to one of the calls that they have with the students. They log on and they talk to each other and they talk about their day. And I was like, wow, these brothers and sisters, of course, there's no free mixing. They are talking in fluent Arabic in 6 months. Now, of course, you have to put the hard work and you have to do the work, but you can just focus, just doing a small amount every single week. And within 6 to 12 months, inshallah ta'ala, you're going to be proficient. And then there's going to be that moment where you're going to be in salah, you're going to be reciting Quran, and it's going to come and you're not expecting, I promise, where you're going to relate to an ayah and it's going to touch your heart in a way, it's going to bring tears to your eyes. And that's going to be the beginning of your relationship with the speech of Allah. So if you want an Arabic Studies Institute that, inshallah ta'ala, works as far as I'm concerned, and within 6 to 12 months you want to be speaking Arabic and then, inshallah, understanding the speech of Allah, then apply to join Ijada Institute at the link below, inshallah ta'ala. Do you feel like you're fighting against the tide?
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm very different. And one of my buddies in Arizona calls me a maverick because, you know, my specialty, you can make a lot of money doing the insurance game. A lot of money in doing the insurance game. Doesn't help people, though. Doesn't help people. Me doing cortisone injections all day doesn't help people. I'm not treating the root cause.
You mean as a doctor?
As a doctor, I'm not. Where I treat patients the way I want to treat them. I don't ask the insurance company, hey, is it okay if I give this patient this? No. I went through the training. I'll treat the patient the way I want to treat the patient. I'll sit and talk to the patient for an hour, not 5 or 10 minutes, because that's what they deserve. Hida ha'u. That's what the patient deserves. So I've went down this path where I don't even bargain with the insurance.
Minimum 45 minutes in all areas of life.
Yeah.
No 10 minutes. No 10, 15 minutes, bro.
You got to tune in the other podcast for that one, right? No, but real talk, it was difficult for me because that path would have been way easier. But the path that I'm taking by treating people holistically, using regenerative medicine, curing pain, it's much harder than just putting Band-Aids. But I love it. I love what I do. When a patient comes to me, for instance, I had this jiu-jitsu fighter who trains the Olympic teams. He tore his bicep, I told you before, like a high-grade partial tear. He went to 2 surgeons who told him, you need surgery. Injected him. He couldn't even lift up a cup of coffee. Now he's lifting 50 pounds. Same with people who have herniated discs in their neck. They go see a surgeon. The surgeon wants to put rods and screws in their neck so their neck doesn't move around and bother their disc. But the root cause is the disc. So I'll go in with a tiny needle and seal their disc so it stops bulging. And they never need to see a surgeon. The problem is sometimes it's hard for these patients to afford this therapy because not everyone's doing it. So they have to travel, they have to make accommodations, right? But for me, hearing that I'm helping cure the root cause of their pain, it means the world to me. I don't care if I'm making millions or billions. For me, that's what matters.
20 years from now, 30 years from now, like what would you like to have achieved in terms of impact in the healthcare space?
I would like to spearhead regenerative medicine and train several doctors under me who can go out and treat people that I can't treat in different countries, different hospitals, different medical settings. That's what I would like. And I would like to open up people's minds that not one pill is going to cure you. Not one injection with cortisone and steroids going to cure you. You have to treat the body as a whole holistic unit. And that's what my training was all about.
Do you use AI in your work?
I use AI for the monotonous things like some scheduling, some email formatting. I want to use it more though.
But not for like diagnosis, not for treatment.
No.
Do you see AI coming into the diagnosis treatment side of things in the next year, couple of years?
It already is.
Yeah.
Especially for radiologists.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of my friends are radiologists, but it can scan through an image and give you an interpretation. I don't think AI will take over the space of a surgeon or a proceduralist because you need hands to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But for image review, for maybe optimizing your medications, seeing, you know, your metabolic function, it might. But I already see it working in radiology right now where they're interpreting images. But you have to think about it yourself. Am I comfortable with a robot diagnosing me?
Can I come back on that? And this is not in terms of I don't agree with what you're saying. It's just I was in China last month, and
What you did in China, bro?
yeah, I was just some stuff like.
What's Xi Jinping saying?
No, I was in Guangzhou, and then I went Hangzhou. I went Hangzhou first, and I went Guangzhou. And Guangzou was more for like some of the medical factories. We're looking at some of the equipment there, and it was to source a specific table for traction. That was the purpose I went. But they showed me some of these other devices. One of the things that really interested me was this surgical device that they're in kind of like almost about to release it retail level. You know, this thing does surgery on a level that I didn't even think would be possible. Like I'm talking like they're developing it to the point where it'll be capable of a neurosurgery in the next 5 years. And what they're saying is like the example that they use, which kind of did surprise me, is for like, you know, like biological debridement. Before we can surgically remove things, and now they're using like these certain maggots where they'll put it into the flesh.
Maggots?
Yeah. So there's the specific type of maggot that only eats necrosized flesh, but because it can biologically debride, it can get rid of flesh that a surgeon can't get to. It can be a bit.
Is this a robot or a
No,
maggot?
this is a maggot, as in we use this now. So in UK hospitals, they'll use something called biological debridement, where they'll put these maggots in, they'll seal it up for a couple of days, they'll remove it, and then all the necrosized flesh. But because those maggots can get to places that the surgeon can't, they were kind of explaining to me that, look, these machines will be able to do surgery at such a microscopic level that the human hands physically can't. I mean, we get tired, you know, we get forgetful. If something goes wrong in the middle of a procedure, it'll take you a second. So I need to do this, I need to adjust. Whereas you've got these AI capable robots now that can adjust in live time. They have access to every single medical encyclopedia, case study, precedent prior to the surgery, during the surgery, within seconds. And they can make decisions that would take us sometimes hours to think about and analyze and think, should we do this, should we do that? So when we're talking about AI in the medical world, it's probably one of the scariest things that is going to be up and coming for us. And it's undeniable.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thought is I agree with you to an extent because there is some clinical decision making that always pops up out of nowhere. In the middle of a procedure, you'll see something and be like, wow, I've never seen this before. You've never trained for it. You've never seen it in a book. And so now you have to make the decision based off your experience. I'll give you an example. I was doing a back procedure once on a patient. We were sealing their discs. And the patient was sedated. And then he got too sedated and he fell asleep too much and he stopped breathing. But the anesthesiologist froze. Like he panicked. He didn't. Like I looked at the anesthesiologist. I was like, what are you doing? And I'm also an anesthesiologist by training too. So I didn't want to step on the anesthesiologist's toes and take over, but I had to at the end. Yeah. So I was throwing him alley-oops. I was like, hey, do you want to suction his mouth? You want to turn up the oxygen? You want to put something in his nose to help him breathe? He's like, oh, yeah. By the time this all happened, a minute or two has elapsed, the guy, his oxygen started dropping down and I knew he was going to start turning blue. So I told the anesthesiologist, stop what you're doing. I pulled out all the needles. All my needles were in the guy's discs.
Oh, damn.
Pulled them all out. Flipped the guy on another bed. He's blue.
Sinus.
He has not been breathing. So I grabbed the oxygen bag, started breathing for him. Pop, 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 pop. Got him breathing. Anesthesiologist just standing there frozen and panicked. Got him back. The patient turns pink. Patient wakes up a little bit. He's like, oh, what's going on? I told the anesthesiologist, I'm like, do you want to continue the procedure? Because ultimately it's their call. They have to take care of the patient. He said, yes, we'll try again. So we tried again. We used less sedation. I numbed the patient up and we finished the procedure. What I'm saying is, how is AI going to handle a situation like that? How is AI going to handle a situation like that? Not only that, is how are you going to tell, how is a patient going to consent to that? Knowing that risk could occur. And how is AI going to handle that? So I think AI will infiltrate some fields of medicine, but there's going to have to be some sort of supervision or a doctor watching, like some sort of human touch until they completely figure it out.
You know what they're saying, though? This is the interesting thing. This is exactly why they want to use AI. What they're saying is that the AI will supervise. Because imagine that situation. Now you're going to have to write up your case study, your notes. This is what happened during the procedure. AI will have access to that. It might have access to hundreds of the exact same situations that have happened in other hospitals around the world.
But the anesthesiologist did the same thing he did every single time, and this patient did that.
Yeah.
Every single time. He did the same exact thing. He took the right precautions, but the patient went apneic. They stopped breathing.
You mentioned every white hair on your beard, and there's not many, Allah Barik, is due to a patient almost dying on you.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
When I was in my anesthesia training, I did it in Texas and San Antonio, and every night, chaos, absolute chaos. People getting stabbed, shot, 8-year-old kid shot in the heart. I mean, I've seen it all. And so I've been in the thick of those situations. And alhamdulillah, by Allah's tawfiq and will, He's helped. Every time, it's like a video game. Every time you go into that situation, your experience points go up a little bit each time. So you go in the next situation, your heart rate doesn't even budge. Your heart rate will stay in the 50s or 60s.
As in yours?
Yeah, like I won't panic because I'm like, okay, I've seen this before. This is the next step. This is what I have to do. And even if I don't know what to do, you've developed an intuition. So there's been many scenarios where patients have almost died on me on the table. I'll give you an example. At the beginning of my training, there's a surgeon, and I put an extra monitor in this patient's IV in their artery to monitor their blood pressure second by second, as opposed to every 5 minutes when it squeezes.
Okay.
She's like, well, why'd you do that? That's an invasive procedure. Why'd you do that for this patient? I said, well, this patient needs it. He has underlying heart issues. He has high blood pressure. I want to monitor his heart every second as opposed to every 5 minutes. She said, well, it's a risky procedure. You should have not done that. We get him on the surgery table. She puts air in the stomach because you have to put air in the stomach in some surgeries so she can get a better view. But the problem is when you put air in the stomach, or if you have something, you have your vagus nerve that travels through. If that vagus nerve gets tickled or it gets too much pressure, your heart will stop. Right. So that's a risk of getting the air filled up in your stomach. So there's critical points of the surgery you have to pay attention to, extra attention when you're an anesthesiologist, and that's one of them. So I'm watching the heart rate, and then I see the blood pressure just start tanking, like very fast, because I put that monitor. So it goes like 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30.
Like that?
Like that. Like do, like that fast. But as it's going down, I was like, oh my God, this is happening right now. So I grabbed the medication, boom, slammed it in the patient's IV, I flushed it. By the time the heart rate went down and the blood pressure went down, the medication kicked in and it came back.
Allah Barik.
And then the patient came back. Then the heart rate went back up. And the surgeon just freezes. They don't know. They can't handle it. I mean, they don't have the tools to handle it. We were ready to do CPR. So I was like, oh, you didn't like that line I put in? Yeah.
What did I say to you earlier? I made a comment. I said the most important person in the room is the anesthesiologist. I was saying to
I still do some anesthesia now just to keep that skill set. But my passion is, curing people's pain.
Last question I have for you. What's your, doctors can sometimes start, I don't know, man, maybe feeling like they're God or something, when they when they're doing these treatments and surgeries and so on and so forth. As a Muslim, like, what's your relationship with Allah in terms of like His divine ability and ultimate, control over everything what's going on? Like, what's your relationship with Allah as a wizard in that situation?
That's a brilliant question. One of my mentors, he was non-Muslim actually. He said, before you go into any patient room, recognize what your intention is. So anytime I go in a patient room, I say the Fatiha, and my intention is to help them with whatever I can help them with. So I always bring Allah into the equation, because I'm just another doctor, right? There's only so much I can do. And it's also expectation management with the patient. I tell them, hey, this is what I'm going to do. At the end of the day, it'll work, it may not work, but I'm going to do my absolute best. That's how I go into each situation. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. Barakallah.
And anytime I get frustrated, because, I'm human, I get frustrated. I can't access a disc. It's very hard to access a disc. There's arthritis blocking my way. I can't access the disc. Or I start reciting the Fatiha. I start Salli al Nabi. I start doing that under my breath. And somehow, some way, Allah just, even sometimes like, Wallahi al-Azim, this is a miracle. Like, there's no way I could have gotten this space.
Allah.
Alhamdulillah.
Can I ask one question? As someone who's been through extensive education and study, etc., what's your view of the education system? Like, would you encourage your children to go to school, college, university, do the whole ringer, or would you push them, forget all that stuff, go into entrepreneurship? What's your perspective on all of that, as someone who's been through it extensively?
I think the medical education system in the US is very good. I think residency is very good. Following doctors, learning from them, gaining their pearls will save you in like a dire moment. The other part of your question, education system for the kids, no, I think it's completely flawed. I think the kids spend way too much time in a classroom, and they need to be outside. They need to be feeling the earth. They need to be moving around. They need to be having interactions with nature. They spend way too much time indoors. Even in Finland, their kids are so successful. I think they go to school 3 times a week.
Yeah,
4 hours a day.
They start at 7.
Yeah.
Right, and they spend most of their time outside.
Yeah.
So I think if you're not going into medicine or becoming like an engineer, or I don't know if there's a point to school. That's my opinion. I really don't. I don't think there's a point. I used to love trading, bartering, sales. I loved that growing up. And then I went into medicine, subhanAllah. But I remember I used to even work as a telemarketer, bro. I worked as a waiter for 2 years, too. Yeah. Not for everyone. Not necessary.
Dr. Mustafa, mashallah, even when you tell these stories about your procedures and whatnot, it's like an epic.
It's mad, isn't it, bro? Mashallah, it is proper.
I want to hear more.
It's rare that you get to speak to somebody who's had this sort of experience like yourself, who can even explain it like you have explained it. And because these experiences are very personal oftentimes, aren't they? A lot of surgeons don't openly speak about stuff like this.
Right.
And it can cause its own trauma. I'm sure you probably have been in situations like, come on, man.
Well, by the guy that was going blue was one of my best friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you even do that surgery, man? You would have been, I would have been like, shit.
I was good friends with him.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he was the CEO's friend.
Damn, bro. The pressure, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm telling you, the amount of stress sometimes you experience as a doctor is like insane. And you have to just like man up and just do it.
Do you think being in shape? I have to be on my A.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you think being in shape and all of that must help you so much in these situations?
Yeah, it does.
100%.
It does. And I think fearing Allah is ultimately what it is. Wallah.
Barakallah feek, man.
Jazakallah.
Dr. Mustafa, thank you so much for your time once again. Well, it's been, again, a very educational episode. Anyone who's watching and they're interested in how to get in touch with the doctor, will put the link to how to access his clinic below, inshallah. The guy treats royalty, man. So, inshallah, get in touch. You won't find, inshallah, a doctor better, man. Oh, I mean, I haven't come across, just from speaking with you, bro. Allah barik, it's clear, you can tell.
Barakallahu fi.
Physio, the only physio with a PhD.
Alhamdulillah.
Allah barik. That's so rare, bro.
You know what it is? No, it's in this field, people get very complacent. They get very happy where they're at. I've got this position I want to get to, and then they don't want to progress. They don't want to move forward anymore. It's all about just wanting to keep going and keep going, And you know what, guys? One thing I'll say about education, you don't need to go to university to keep learning. We are living in an era where there's so much data available. First thing, learn how to learn, then go and learn.
I love that. I love that, man. Barakallah fi. Guys, with that said, we'll see you next week for another episode, man. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.